มีขาเป็นโมเดลน่าดีกว่า
person today is flashing on this office. Thank you, guys.
All God's people said,
Amen.
Very good. Good spirit this morning, and always Ashley does an outstanding job, and we appreciate her so much. This is the week as we enter into the last week of Christ's life on earth. And I'm not going to preach on Palm Sunday this morning, but we're going to skip all the way to Thursday. We're going to talk about the event of Thursday, leading up to crucifixion. And so this morning we're going to talk about the Last Supper. Now, I don't know that I've ever preached on this topic here, or not that I can remember. But the Last Supper, obviously, is the last meal that Jesus had with the disciples prior to his arrest and death and burial and resurrection. And so we're going to go through approximately 13 verses, and we're going to explain to you what happens at each step. So, this Last Supper takes place on Thursday. It was in a borrowed room that the disciples found and gathered to meet with the Lord before he was to die. So if you have your Bibles this morning, the book of Matthew 26. All right? Matthew 26. And we'll be in chapter 26. We'll begin at verse 27. And I'm going to read a few verses, stop, explain them to you, and then we'll go on. So it'll take us a little while this morning to get through the scripture, but just keep your Bibles open. So, if you're glad that you're alive this morning and serve a risen Savior, say amen. Amen. Yeah, so we serve one that is alive, where so many, for lack of a better word, religions do not have that. We serve one that certainly is alive. So, chapter 26, verse 17, reads such as this. Now the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the disciples came to Jesus and said, "Where should we go to prepare to eat the Passover?" He said, "Go into the city to such a man and say to him, the Master said, my time is at hand and I will keep the Passover at your house with my disciples." All right, so now we're going to pause. And so they said, where we're going to have this meal. See, keep in mind, they didn't have a location. Jesus plainly said, go to a man, whoever this man was, and we're going to have it at his house. So the first thing I want you to understand when we get ready for the Lord's Supper, such as we're going to do this morning, there's a necessary preparation that takes place prior to the Lord's Supper. Now, what do we need to be prepared for the Lord's Supper? Well, in this case, they had to have a location. All right? They had to have a place where they could have the Lord's Supper. Number two, you have to have something to eat. All right? You have to have something to drink. How many ever went to a meal and sat down at the table and there was nothing there? Well, it's not a meal, is it? All right? So when you go to a meal, you expect to eat. All right? So, as they was getting ready, they approached the table with their hearts prepared. So, the Lord's final supper is not something that's taken lightly. It's not just a piece of dried up old bread. It's not just a little cup of juice that you just take and, well, you know, that is what it is. That's the wrong attitude. All right, so we're to never enter into the Lord's Supper and take it light. All right, this is a very serious matter, and it's something that's not to be taken as routine. It's something the Bible says as often as you will, whenever you choose to do it, it's fine. But I'm a firm believer it's not to be repetitious, and it's not to be something that we just do it because it's the third or it's the second quarter, third quarter, or whatever, or it's not because some churches does it every Sunday. I don't think it's to be taken lightly. And so the necessary preparation prior to the Lord's Supper is sin removal. All right? Now, every one of us would probably be honest and say we've all got sin. Amen? All right. So, prior to taking this morning, we're going to try our hardest to remove sin that's currently in our lives, whether it's something we said, something we thought, and the list goes on. So, necessary preparation. It's not just the place you're going to have it. It's not just the food you're going to take up, but it's getting rid of sin. All right? Getting rid of. And now let's go on to self-examination. Let's look at verse 20. All right? Verse 20. Now when the eve was come, he sat down with the 12. And as they did eat, he said, verily I say to you that one of you will betray me. They were exceedingly sad, and began every one of them saying to him, Lord, is it I? And he answered and said, he that dips his hand with me in the dish, the same shall betray me. The Son of Man goes, as it is written of him, but woe unto that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. Been better, or been good for that man if he'd not been born. And Judas, which betrayed him, answered and said, Master, is it I? And he said unto him, Thou hast said it. So, the next point about is self-examination. All right? Now, other than Jesus, nobody knows you better than you know yourself. All right? If you agree with that, say amen. Amen. All right? There's probably some things that your spouse doesn't know about you. You haven't revealed that to them. There's probably some things your parents may not know about you. But at the heart of it, Jesus knows everything about you. And then probably the next person that knows everything or most things about you is your own self. So, self-examination. Prior to taking this, Jesus warns them that one of you is going to commit an evil act. Alright? Now keep in mind it's him and 12 other guys. And all 12 guys says, is it me? Now if I was sitting there with him, and if you was, that would be on your mind too, because he says one of you is going to turn your back on. And so every one of them wanted to know, hey, is it me? Now just think about that. You know, you sit down at a table with somebody very important, such as Christ, and he tells you, said, one of you is going to turn your back on me. Marcus, I believe I don't know if it's me. So all the guys at some point in this preparation, or self-examination rather, they all said, is it me? Alright? Now I would dare say that sometime in our lives as believers, Rex, we've all probably somewhat turned our back on the Lord.
Right.
Now, Jesus warns Judas of this, and he gives him the opportunity to make it right. Alright, now look back. He that dips his hand with me in the dish, the same shall betray me. The Son of Man goes, as is written, but woe to him by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. So at this point, Judas hasn't done it. Alright? Now, every decision you make is pretty much up to you. It's your choice whether or not you sin or you don't. So, Judas had the opportunity somewhere in here, Larry, to ultimately say, I am not going to sin. I am not going to turn my back on Jesus. I'm going to do what's right. Of course, obviously he didn't. Alright? So, when I get ready for the Lord's Supper, the final meal that we're going to take this morning, self-examination comes in, and so, where do I stand at with the Lord? Alright? Now, every one of you, you're the second person in the line that knows where you are with the Lord. So, currently this morning, here in a few short moments, we're going to take the Lord's Supper. And self-examination comes up prior to that, and we should ask ourselves the question, am I like Jesus? Where do I stand at with the Lord? So they go on and they have this meal, and later on Judas still yet goes out and turns his back on the Father. Now, this morning the question is raised in self-examination. Prior to the Last Supper, where do you stand at with the Lord? Now, they tell us, and I've heard this, read it, seen reports, that the person's on death row, all right? And they're about ready to be executed. The night before, they ask them, what's your final meal? What do you want to eat prior to your execution? Some of them want lobster, some of them want steak, and the list goes on. And they provide that last meal prior to their death. The best that money can buy. So, here, we're self-examining ourselves prior to the last meal that's with Christ. Now, if you are of the 12, and you are the one that on a weekly basis turns your back against the Lord, then you've got some serious problems.
Right.
And I would dare say that most of us probably, in a week's time, month's time, turn our back on the Father. Now let's look. verse 26. They were eating. Jesus took bread and he blessed it. He broke it and he gave it to the disciples and said, "Take, eat, this is my body." He took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them. And he spoke, "Drink ye all of it." So now we come up to the next point of representation. All right? Now if you look up here, we have a table that's presented somewhat formal. All right? And out of all meals that you could take, all right? Whether you sit down and you have a big ribeye, or you sit down and have filet, or you sit down and have some type of seafood, they bring that plate out and flop it down on the table and there it is. But when you take the Lord's Supper, the representation is totally different. Yeah. All right? Yeah. It's more symbolic, if you will. It's better than just some old dirty plate thrown out in front of you that 1,500 people already eat off of at some point in the existence of that plate. So, our representation this morning is that of the Father. And Jesus, here in these 3 verses, he only interrupts their meal. And here's what he says. He gave them the bread and told them, said, "This is my body." So as they were eating, he interrupted and he made the last meal ultimately the Lord's meal. All right? He told them, he said, "This bread that you're about ready to eat, it represents my body." All right? If you're with me this morning, shake your head. All right? If you ain't awake, say amen. Well, some of you awake, say amen. All right. Then he said, "Now I'm going to give you the wine." All right? The juice. And he said, "This represents my what? Blood." All right? Blood. So he only turned the whole entire meal out to be the Lord's Supper. Not just a final meal, not just a representation, so to speak, but it's only the Lord's Supper. All right? So now we take of this bread, represents his body. His blood is the remission or release of our sins. So, you and I, we can have our last meal. We can call it Leo's Last Supper, Roger's Last Supper, and we can say the same things that Jesus said, and it doesn't mean squat. But Jesus at this point is trying to emphasize to those followers, this is the last time we eat together, and this represents what I'm doing for you. Right. The payment that he is about to pay. Let's move on. Verse 29. "But I say to you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine, till that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom." And they sung a hymn, they went out into the Mount of Olives. So the fourth point, he gives them an excitement for the next supper. Now, did you understand when he said that he's going to have this next supper? He says, "I'm not going to have it with you until we're in the Lord's kingdom, or my Father's kingdom." So has that happened yet? Oh, no. No. You see, there will be a final supper, so to speak. But that's when he gathers all the church home with him. And he'll have this supper again. So, this meal will be observed with the disciples and you and I again in heaven. If you believe that, say amen. All right. So, they have a built-up anticipation of the next time they meet. Now, out of that 12, can you imagine being the one guy that in just a few short hours betrays the Son of God? All right? So, yet Jesus said, one of you's going to betray me. Judas says, "Is it me?" And the Lord says, "Yep, pretty much." And he tells them all that he's done. And then he gives them a future date and states, hey, out in the future, we're going to do this again, but we're going to do it in heaven. And Judas being I don't know where his brain was at the time, but must not have been screwed on his head. He went out and still yet betrayed the Father. Right. How many's ever been betrayed before somebody? Woo. All right. can you imagine? Of course, Jesus knows all things, and he was sitting at the table. All right? And sitting there looking at those 12. Knowing, as he looked across the table, and he saw Judas, knowing, Leo, that he was going to be the one that was betrayed. You know, I'd have a hard time not taking a piece of that bread and slapping him in the head with it. Amen?
Right.
But you see, Jesus responds to things different than we do.
Right.
Now, if I knew that you was going to betray me, odds are I'd try to do something to change your mind. But you see, Jesus knows the future, unlike we do not. And so, he knew that unfortunately, Judas had to do it. Judas had to collect that money and tell him where the Son of God was at. He had to do it in order for him to be arrested and go through the process of death, burial, and resurrection. You know, a lot of you have done a lot of things for a lot of people. You've been good people. You've done a lot of great things. But when you think about the Lord's Supper, and as we pause to remember his life, there's nobody that's ever done what Christ has done for you.
Nobody.
Nobody can ever come up to the standard or to the honor of what Jesus has done for you. You know, some things this morning I want you to understand. All right? And I don't tell this every time. May have never told it. If a child's underage, I'm a firm believer they should partake of it. They don't understand it. They just don't understand it. If you have sin in your life, and you are not willing to get rid of the sin, this morning's supper is not for you.
No way.
The Bible says if you take of it, you take damnation to your own soul. That's the next group that shouldn't partake of it. So it only leaves only one group that partakes of the Lord's Supper and does it willingly. That's those of you that are saved. Those of you that are in fellowship with the Lord. So, if we went down and we go back to the second point I had, we had a self-examination. And we was all really honest with ourselves. This morning when the cup and bread is passed, that's totally up to you, whether you choose to take it or not. But you see, it boils down to, are you like Judas, knowing that somewhere in there you're going to betray, and you've got sin in your life, and you're unwilling to get rid of it? Or are you like the 11 that says, hey, I'm all right with the Lord? Keisha, come on. Here's what we're going to do before we have the Lord's Supper. We're going to have a time of invitation. I want two of my deacons to come up. Leo, you're up here. You come up here on this side. Victor, you come over here. And the invitation is open. And I want you to stand. No one's looking around. Just going to be these two deacons and me. All right? This is not how I normally do it, but I want you to stand this morning, every head bowed and every eye closed. Now we're going to talk in just a moment. All right? The Lord's Supper is a very serious matter. And this morning, if you feel like that there's sin in your life, that there's a problem in your life that shouldn't be there, these two men and myself's up here. If you want to talk to one of them, they'd be happy to pray with you. This morning we're going to go to the Lord, and the altar is open. And after I say amen, I want you to keep your eyes closed and your heads bowed, because it's very serious. The serious part of it is, if somebody has something in their life that shouldn't be there, just be honest, they may be afraid to come up front. Who will see them? I just want to give respect this morning to the move of the Spirit. Heavenly Father, we come to you. Lord, the things you gave up for us. Lord, as we pause this morning to remember the Last Supper, Lord, the Bible is very clear that if there's sin in our life, we don't need to take of it. God, I pray for those of us. It doesn't matter who we are. That has problems in our life. Before we take of it, I pray that we'll get it right with you. Lord, it's so easy to come and give it to you. Lord, on that Thursday night, you told them. You told the 12, said one of them is going to betray you. Only that was their invitation to make it right before the final meal. So, Father, this morning I ask if there's any of us has sin in our life before this last supper, we'll make it right.
Amen.
In Jesus' name. Just keep your heads bowed and your eyes closed. Keisha, sing us a verse in the chorus. If you feel the Spirit leading, just nudge your neighbor. They'll know what you need. They'll let you right out. Go on. Done anything this week, this past month, Lord, that we've not asked your forgiveness for, Lord, we do it right now. Lord, we pray that you make our hearts clear, our minds alert. Lord, we pray that you forgive us for any unconfessed sins. Lord, as we enter into this very special time, we pray that you'll have your way. Lord, as we pause to remember your death, your burial, your resurrection. For it's in your name we do pray. Amen. Deacons, make your way up front as she finishes out this verse and chorus. Please remain standing this morning if you would. heard the story this morning. And I'm going to read it to you again. As they were eating, Jesus took bread and blessed it and broke it and gave it to the disciples and said, "Take, eat. This is my body." And they did eat. Father God, we come to you. And Lord, the bread in the Bible states represents your body. Lord, it's, as we pause and do it this morning as we enter into this Holy Week, Lord, I personally thank you for your sacrifice and what you've done for us, Lord. You didn't have to, but you loved us that much. Lord, I thank you for your body. There's no other body that's ever walked the earth that paid the penalty for our sins. It's in your name we pray. Amen. After they'd taken of the body, they were drinking. And they took the cup, gave thanks, He gave it to them. He told them to drink all of it. And they did drink. Lord Jesus, we thank you as we pause to remember the blood that was paid for our sins. Lord, the only blood that's ever flowed through mankind that was sinless. Lord, there's not been a person born yet, nor will there ever be, that doesn't have sin in their life. Lord, there was that man named Jesus that was sinless, yet lived a human life. Lord, I thank you for the opportunity this morning to pause to remember that. Lord, we love you and we thank you for it in Christ's name. Amen. Now, give me just a minute this morning. We have been going through and nominating committee, and deacons and I are searching for deacons this past several months. And after lots of prayer and talking to several different men, we've had two that has accepted the call this morning. And I want both families to come up here. John, Jared, you want to come on up here. This morning I'm going to present both these families to the church, and in 2 weeks from this morning we're going to vote on them. But between now and then I want you to pray for these good-looking guys and girls and their families. Both men have certainly prayed about it, and Rex and I, we have talked with both of them, and we're excited as they step out. It certainly will change their life, and I look forward to seeing what the Lord has in store for them and their family. And this morning, I want you, over the course of the next 2 weeks, to be much in prayer for them. And pray that we know that Satan will come against them. We know that. We know that Satan will try to convince them not to do it. And that's just the way he works. But you all lift them up over these next 2 weeks. And we'll vote on them in 2 weeks. And after that, I'll schedule an ordination. Jared, you got anything to share with us this morning?
Just ask the church to pray for me. I look across the church. I've been raised in this church my entire life, and I look across the church, and I can remember those men that I looked up to whenever I was little. My grandfather was a deacon here before me, and I looked across, and there's a lot of those men that I looked up to as a little boy that aren't there anymore, and there's a lot of men that are still there, still standing there. And I'm just thankful for this church. I said it a couple Sundays ago, but I'm really thankful for this church, for all the men that was in it that I looked up to and led me in the right direction. And I just pray that I can be one of those men that these little kids look up to and say, well, I need to do like he does.
Amen. Amen. John?
Well, we wasn't growing up in this church, but everybody in this church has treated us like we had. And it doesn't feel like, we've only been here 2 years, 2.5 years. It feels like, been here forever, which I know a lot of people in this church, but, that can be a struggle for a family to come into a new church, not knowing a whole lot of people. But I believe I speak for me and my family both. It feels like we've grown up in this church, and we really appreciate that. And, I'd love to serve my church, people in my church, and this is my church. Just again, pray for me and my family as well. Lord, give us guidance, let us listen to what He's saying.
Amen. It wasn't likely that they've done it. It took them several weeks to give us an answer, and so pray for both of them, and we look forward to seeing what God has in store for them. Does anyone else word of praise this morning before we dismiss? Amen. Amen. Someone else. Someone else? Amen. Someone else? Amen. Amen. Praise the Lord. Someone else?
I'd like to ask the church to pray for a co-worker going in for some tests tomorrow. Hopefully he'll have good results. And also, I want to thank the Lord for what he's done for me and my family.
Amen, brother. Someone else? Amen. Someone else?
I asked prayers for my little niece Addison. She's been in the hospital ER twice since Friday. 104.7 room temperature. When they get it down, send her home, and then it spikes back up. They diagnosed her with strep throat, but she's not doing very good.
1:45, the bus leaves to go to Columbia. Lindsey Wilson, you want to go through here, be back approximately 5:15, give or take. So come for that if you can, want to. Come by, shake their hands, let them know you're praying for them, that you support them, and we're to help each other. But these are our two new deacons. We're praying for them, and I want you all to support them. Gather hands this morning. Cantata will be at 4:30 Central Time. Practice will be here for that. Marcus, dismiss us this morning.
Dear Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for this day that you've given us. Thank you for the word that Brother Roger has brought to us this morning. Please be with the two families, the two new deacons that we're going to bring into the church family. Just go with everyone as they go out through the day, bring them back safely, and all these things we owe to you. Amen.